It's time to talk Penguin. So let's do that.
It's showtime.
Okay, and let's be spoiler free for the first part of this discussion. My overall impression, and I want to hear from everyone who watched the finale, is this is not just a great show affiliated with a comic book property. This is a great TV show for people who don't care about Batman or comic books or whatever. Colin Farrell, if he does not get an Emmy and win, will be like that it'll be a travesty.
I know they don't count, but they sort of count on this one. He's really good.
From such a stellar cast, making me care about characters I wouldn't think I cared about, with this mob war that goes beyond. I mean, it's heads and tails above Sopranos, in my opinion.
It turns into something completely different than Sopranos.
Very different. It's very different. And that finale was heartbreaking. We're not talking spoilers now, but let me just say the finale was heartbreaking. You saw, it wasn't just, we were talking about it before we went live. It's not just one of those, oh, I understand why the villain is the villain. I see his side of the story or her side. Whatever. He is straight up a horrible human being.
Well, it is that though, Chris, right? But that's the problem. We do understand his side of the story. We do see it, and it's not pleasant to see. Turns out all these people are horrible. That's all I'll say. Spoiler free. Everyone is horrible.
Yeah. I've got something to say after we talk spoilers, but this is one of the best TV shows of the year. I plan to watch it through again. They do these things at the end of the show where they go, and let's talk more about the show. And they do like a little 10-minute. I'm going to watch those after, but I'm telling you, there are going to be tons of Emmy noms for this thing. And what this show does is it throws down the gauntlet for superhero content, right? Disney has been churning out garbage on Disney Plus when it comes to superheroes, in my opinion. Okay. This shows the height you can reach. I think Chris Nolan really sort of like showed how it could be done with The Dark Knight. It was like, oh, wait, a superhero property can reach levels where it goes beyond being something superhero, right? And this does the same thing. There is no excuse that other shows could not be, at least aspire to be, something like this. I was blown away. I'm dying to see it again. Like, and so many heartbreaking moments I don't want to ruin. Who else saw the finale and would like to comment broadly before we go spoilers?
I did. And you know what? This is going to sound really weird. I almost equate the Penguin to the first season of Cobra Kai for me. And I say that because the Penguin, this show shouldn't have worked. It shouldn't have worked, right? If you'd have told me a year ago that a show about the Penguin based off of Matt Reeves' The Batman was going to be the best show of the year, I would have laughed you out the room, right? Just like back in the day when Cobra Kai came out and you told me they were going to make a spin-off show about Johnny Lawrence, 30 years after the movie was made, and it was going to be a hit show, I would have said you were nuts. And I was blown away, man. This show for me was like, it kind of like revived my love of TV. It kind of, I can't say enough good things about it. Like, I really can't. Like, and I'm not simping, I'm not blowing smoke. Like, this is literally the best show on TV right now. And the way that they ended this, man, and we're not going to talk about spoilers yet, but I will say this. We as much as they compare it to the Sopranos and other mob things, I felt like, yeah, there were elements of that, but we still got Gotham in this. Like, Gotham City was still relevant and present in this show, man. And to see us get the Penguin at the end of this episode, and they did it in the most genuine way. I hands down, probably
it was
one of the
top hat somewhere. We saw a top hat.
Yes, it's in my.
Just saying.
top 3 favorite shows probably for the past couple of years, if I'm being honest.
The look was modeled on the first appearance of the Penguin in the comics. Like there's such attention to detail.
It looks like Arkhamverse Penguin, which I think that might have also been by design. In fact, I thought they were going to do one very specific thing that they didn't, but yeah.
Yeah, speaking broadly, I don't remember. It's comparable to Daredevil to me as far as this kind of genre television shows. Like I'm trying to think of the last good show in this genre that I really enjoyed, and I think it's up there with that. The great character work, just every detail, every department is working so well. You can tell they're passionate about the character, all the characters and performances. Yeah, all Emmys all around, in particular Colin Farrell and the makeup team. You could see wrinkles and pores, his skin pores. Like that's amazing to me. Like he disappeared in this role again and in a new way. And it accomplished what shows like this should accomplish, these like spinoffs. It should only enrich and expand in a meaningful way to this particular saga, which is the Batman. And now I'm like super excited for the next chapter in the film. They did so much work to establish the criminal underground that it makes the stakes and the tension and the drama in the next film like way up there. Just makes me so hyped for that. So that's what all these should accomplish. Yeah.
Going into.
Sorry to disappoint you, but Matt Reeves is writing the second Batman movie, and I thought the first one was probably one of the worst Batman movies ever made because it was retreading a lot of stuff and went way off course. But I will agree with all of you. The acting in this is superb. I especially love the little kid that plays young Oz. Like, I feel like I've seen that actor in a dozen other things before, decades earlier, because they always have that one kid with the dark hair can just do that accent, kind of chubby, and appease to like with last week's episode, not the one that just happened the week before, where you're like, yeah, man, Ma, I love you. I'll do whatever I can for you. I'm the doting son. I'm like, I like that character. I like that actor. I liked his story in that part there. I will say this, props to the team. Because this show was technically shot twice. They shot the first third of it, and then they had to go back and rewrite and redo a whole lot prior to the writer's strike. So they managed to actually pull off something pretty fantastic here. I have apprehensions that the quality is going to carry over onto the Batman 2, because Matt Reeves was distant for this production. He was there in name only. It was all the showrunners and the cast and the crew pulling every single string they can to try and get this thing to work. And my hat is off to them. That is amazing.
Matt Reeves wasn't involved. I thought this was his concept.
It was
it's
part
his
of the
idea, but
overall
then he
structure
stepped
of
away
it.
from it, and it was basically the showrunners making a run for it.
They should have these people write the Batman. Truthfully, I would like to see a Batman TV series with season-long arcs. And what you could do is, because here's the thing with modern TV these days, which the gaps between seasons are enormous and kill the momentum. What I'd love to see is a Batman TV show where every year we get a Batman, series, right? And then when that ends, you tell the story of a villain, a mini series like a Penguin, Joker, Riddler. Think of the stories you could tell about the Gotham's rogue gallery of villains. You could just do Batman, and have villains in between seasons. So you don't wait a year or two. The year wait is another villain where we get deeper layers. I just think it's so crazy. There hasn't been a Batman TV series since 1966. It seems like a dumb decision. And then when you put all this money into multi-$100 million Batman films, I don't think you need to do that. With what first of all, HBO is so good at making TV. They're the ones, if they're going to do an adult Batman series, have HBO do it.
Yeah, but then you can't do half of his rogues. Can't even do a third of his rogues gallery, because you can't start becoming fantastical and too over the top for what.
Yeah,
Matt's
like Poison
doing.
Ivy, Clayface. You can't do.
Or you can do them in a version that I don't really want to see street grounded.
I'll tell you how you make it work. Have you seen the Gotham 1919 through 1939 hardcover book?
Yeah,
that's how you do it. That is how you do it. So I could bring that up and I'll show you.
But isn't this why they delayed? They were going to have an Arkham Asylum, and I know they say it's in whatever transition, it's evolving, but it was going to be in the Matt Reeves, and then they said it in the DCU because that's where you can accurately do these characters, make Clayface, and so on and so forth.
Yep. They also got rid of the Gotham City PD. And now I will tell you this, Chris, with all their efforts, if they try to do a Batman TV series, it's going to be more like the Gotham on Fox than it would be something of Batman. And you don't want that because it's a really hard thing to balance and get right. It's really, really hard.
I thought I read somewhere that Matt Reeves originally pitched it as a TV series. The Batman Year 2 is what it's called. Or maybe I'm misremembering.
No, I think they said somewhere. No, do that, keep that. That basically it was like that juice needs to stay for the movies, but all these other characters that we are good, but we would never give a movie to, you can have a television show. And we got the Penguin, and they proved they can do it.
Here, they were also going to do the GCPD movie,
but that was supposed to be that 70s show that Script just mentioned. It was supposed to be like a corrupt Gotham PD in the 70s, and that got evolved into I think still happening. It's just I don't know which universe it's in now.
Let me explain what this is. Giant Panda King, go to giantpandaking.com and look up 1939, formerly known as Gotham 1919-1939. I have promoted this book before. We've interviewed the creator, Russell Beatty, on our show. He did a Batman burlesque show, which was a lot of fun. Anyways, here's his book where he basically goes through all the different Batman villains. I mean, there's the Penguin, and sets the story in the Prohibition era gangster 1920s for 20 years, telling the story of Batman, including fantastical characters. I'm scrolling through it right now, but
Two-Face would be a good one. You could do that, Matt Reeves.
If you don't have this book, get it now, because DC has tried to suppress it, but it is a historical telling of this crazy era in Gotham City when crime was rampant. Mr. Freeze is in it. Like, look at this. I'm scrolling through, but it treats Batman as a serious thing that actually happened and telling like the historical telling of this crazy era in Gotham City history. So seek out this book. It's so good. And it makes it real. It gives it that verisimilitude. So giantpandaking.com. Shout out to her friend Russell Beatty. That's how you do it. So it's
a really cool book, man.
It's a great book. I mean, Dante, you were with us when we went to that event. It was awesome. Let's talk spoilers now. Most heartbreaking moment. So everyone watching, we are in spoiler territory. We'll try to keep it light spoilers. Any spoilers you'd like to discuss, now is the time.
Can I just go first? Because I think I'm the only one that didn't like stuff. Everyone else loved it. Okay. Just the two things. I'm fine with where we got to. I just don't like some of the ways of how we got there. I don't want anyone that ever complained about the Riddler being an incel to be complaining about the fact, or be fine with the fact that they basically turned Penguin into someone who did want to fuck his mom. I thought he was just a mama's boy. No, it's a full-on complex, as confirmed. Oedipus, thank you. As confirmed by the end, where he has his girlfriend dress up like his mommy.
Yeah, that was weird. That was weird for me.
Weird.
We all knew Vic was going to die. If it was 100% that Vic knew what happened with his brothers and his mom and all that, I would have been fine with it. But I've seen this done in Star Wars, where Malgus the Sith has to kill his girlfriend because he learns it's a vulnerability and he shouldn't have those weaknesses. I just thought that, if anything, Penguin just learned that connection is what got all his boys to stand behind him and turn against Sophia. And that was just not the lesson learned from that. But whatever, I'm fine with where we ended up at. But a couple of those little things, it's like, all right. And also, it makes me not like the mom now that she knew the entire time.
Yeah, I didn't think they were going to go that route. Honestly, I thought it was going to be where he just fesses up, and she finds out that way. But
exactly.
The fact that she always knew. But you know what, though? It lends itself to everybody in the show is corrupt.
Yeah.
Everybody in the show is awful on some level. Even Vic, Vic had a level of awfulness inside of him.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. For me, I love the scene where they're tied up and she's trying to get Penguin to confess. And at that point, you realize what a sociopath he is. Because in his mind, I think he really believed he didn't do it. Like, he didn't.
It's not a lie if you believe it.
Mm-hmm. Right. But he took that to the next level, right?
Yes.
Like, he was willing to let his mom get her finger cut off because of the lie.
because it's not him, right? It's that whatever weird promise that he made as a kid, and it's whatever version in his head is.
Well,
Of
and
her, not
the
her.
thing with the mom knowing, I actually that scene or just that knowledge of it was very interesting. It's just incredible character work, I think. But when I look back at the whole episode, I think it was just establishing how insidious he is and how much of a manipulator he is, even as a child. Because I think what
Yeah.
convinced her to not kill him, have him killed, was as the child, that performance of him like kind of saying how much he loves her, he's going to take care of her, how much she's underappreciated. It even as a child, like he knew how to get into someone's head, know their weaknesses and how to manipulate them. So I thought that just speaks to how insidious
It's
he was
comic
even
accurate.
then, that she was okay with it, that he
Yeah.
got her to be okay with it, and that's what led to the situation now. And same thing with Vic. He knew how he ticked or whatever. He knows how other people tick and how to use that against them in a way that they can't even recognize it at the time until it's too
I
late.
liked the illusion. I know in the comics he 100% kills his brother, and it's way more over. I sort of like the illusion that he just wanted time with his mom, and then by the time he went back, they were drowned. But they just make it so over. Yeah, he's evil, and I sort of like it being like he's complicated. Now he's not really complicated. He's just evil. Everyone is
Well,
evil,
yeah.
and it's like
Thank
I
you
get
for making
that.
bad guys bad again. I just
Yeah.
thank you for
Also,
that.
but also, I sort of like where you can have a shred, but still do. There's, in other words, let me rephrase it a different way. There's no excuse now for Batman letting him go on. Like there was always that shred that he maintained an air of, I don't know. I just something about it I don't like.
He lost his plausible deniability. I'll put it to you that way.
That's works for me. Yeah,
because I really did enjoy that tied up scene, but what kind of sucked all the wind out of its sails for me was the 10-minute flashback beforehand, because I think you could have taken that flashback, cut it up, and then peppered it after the fact, because I wanted that scene with Fran saying, I knew the whole time, be the cathartic surprise of like, whoa, what? Because we just got shown that and told that, and then we're shown it and told it again. And it just felt like sloppy to me, but I really liked that performance because you could have ended, instead of having him dance with his girlfriend posing as his mom, you could have ended it with that speech of him as a kid telling his mother right after you kind of get the idea that, yeah, he's going to send her, she's going to send him directs to be killed. And he does this. And you're like, that's your ending moment. And then you come back to him just staring out and you have the bat signal, debut, all that type of stuff.
I
didn't
totally
fill me
get
with
that.
excitement when that happened. It was
But
like,
I also
now
think-
he's there. Sorry.
I think the huge revelation, though, for me, that of what really struck me, though, wasn't the fact that she knew. It was how he actually didn't care about his mother. When you think
Right.
about it, like it seemed all this time that he was doing everything for her specifically, but no, it's like he has this weird psychosis where it doesn't matter what she wants in the end. But she's attached to what his aspirations in that way, but it's all about his aspirations and what he wants. And she's just involved in that way. But ultimately he doesn't care what she wants, as was a huge testament at the very end when she's just like locked in her body, what she didn't want.
Right.
But it was all about him. And so that was the biggest revelation there for me. But I get what you're saying, Script, that it could have been more dramatic if they revealed that later, but
well, they both won,
yeah.
but they lost, but they won. So Sophia lost, but then she won in the end because she gets, spoiler, Catwoman sends her a letter. So she ends smiling. He won, but he lost because he can't have any sort of validation. She's strapped. And so he ends sort of like, yeah, I won. Great. And then, of course, the bat signal pops up to remind him that he hadn't won shit because Batman's still. Apparently now, that's my biggest gripe now of the whole series. I did not need to see the signal or Batman, but I am upset that no one, all that air of fear that's set up in the first movie, that like, bro, people are afraid, that it's not even mentioned in the movie or the show.
Okay, one thing I did want, and to your point, I was hoping that we would at least hear a news story that Bruce Wayne was busy with like philanthropic efforts of like, so that would make sense to me as to why he's not. There's this huge gang war going on in this part of the city, so that's kind of a plot hole there. Yeah, just a little bit of that. Bat signal was fine for me at the end because actually at that point I'm like, yeah, I'm ready for the Batman to kick some
something
butt.
blew up in Crown Point. We need Batman to investigate.
Yeah, no, but other than that, it's a good show. I'm not shitting on the show. It's great. I'm just saying for me personally, there were two decisions that I wish had been ever so slightly different. But yes, that is a nitpick.
Yeah,
it
I
has
agree
its flaws,
with the fact that I kind of wish that at least some knowledge of or acknowledgement of the Batman or Bruce Wayne like sprinkled throughout the show would have helped. Like, yeah, they could have easily just said, hey, guess what? This whole time, Bruce has been overseas taking care of business for Wayne Enterprises, blah, blah, blah. So that explains why he's not there. That explains why things are happening in his city.
You don't even have to do that. Penguin goes down to City Hall and we get a glimpse of the mayor says, we need more resources. And someone could be like, hi, I'm here from the Wayne Foundation at behest of Bruce Wayne. Like that's all you need, because that's why else have that scene there. Oh, we need more resources. Like,
so there's a political comic inside the show that someone like the newspaper that shows like the bat signal, and then it's been weeks now indicating that he hasn't shown up. But then the only way we know anything is Matt Reeves saying that he's going through a transitional period. We don't know what that means, like upgrading his costume, whatever. But yeah, you should have shown that since the last movie he learned he needs to be Bruce Wayne, and that Bruce Wayne new fund or whatever. That's all I needed. Which part?
Yeah,
All of it.
But man, it's just as far as like all the performances in this last episode, man, it was, and like Chris said, it was heartbreaking, man. The whole thing with Vic was
tragic.
You knew
the
it was coming.
He's not Zaz. No, everyone thought he was gonna be a serial killer.
Vic was the worst, I think, for me, because he was so built up. He had purpose in life. We saw his character evolve through the series, and the way that it was such a personal, the way he was taken out was so personal. It wasn't with like it was horrifying.
Do you believe the theory that it wasn't until he said your family? It wasn't until he was going to leave him. He was going to walk away from that whole thing. It wasn't until he said you're like family, and he went, oh, Jesus. Right then he made the decision to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to see it again, but
I think he planned it. At that point, he's like has political aspirations, so he's moving in a new phase of his plan, ultimate plan. I don't know. I think the fact that they went to the park by itself and it's secluded and it made it look like a mugging. I think for
he
the
let him finish drink.
That's just my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a good opinion.
He's just evil, though. That's what's downright
evil.
Thank you for making him evil that we root against, and we root for the Batman to defeat him. So that's great.
But I like how they established in the episode before that he callously let his brothers die.
Yeah,
like he had no remorse whatsoever.
Yeah,
and that should have been foreshadowing to his relationship with Vic, right? I mean, he doesn't really care.
He's so damn likable. Even through all that prosthetic, he's so damn likable and emotive as a person that you want to root for him.
Yeah, that's part of his
I don't know.
The entire angle of what Penguin's been doing in this whole show is that he's saying he's the victim who's fighting against the other people. He's the guy that's always been overlooked. And that was his angle for getting everybody else to do, the ending of The Godfather on everybody else, essentially what that was. As I've said previously on this show, I do like the acting, but I will say plot-wise, there's a lot of convolution in this that things just happen to work out for Penguin, regardless of his actual guile or his own sinister nature. Physically
the worst way.
Yeah.
Like he beat Maroni, but Maroni died of a heart attack, so he didn't really get the benefit of killing him. It was like, and he did this, but he didn't really because this. So they blue balled him at every moment.
I felt it was really funny the way that he died of a heart attack, like right there, but he still had to I got you. Like it was oh God, so good. Now, I mean,
you're playing into the pathetic aspect of the Penguin, but you're also doing it at the expense of him being a sinister guy. And it's like, okay, I get it. I see the balancing act. I don't know how much I can support it yet. But again, to your point, Badger, Colin Farrell, he makes you like watching him in this show specifically. Sorry, Chris.
So his best performance.
I want to say something about just the season as a whole, because the actor who played young Oz was amazing. I tried to look him up. Can you find it on IMDb? This actor was incredible. And it reminded me of something I saw as a kid. And I think, seriously, the next phase is going to be Lil Penguin. You could do a whole series. Sorry. You could do a whole series about the Penguin as a kid. That actor was so good. And I'll prove it to you. This is a movie I saw as a kid that starred Scott Baio and Jodie Foster.
Oh, is it Bugsy Malone?
Bugsy Malone, which was a gangster movie with all children, and they kill each other with machine guns that shoot cream pies. Now, make of that
Cream
what you will.
pies.
I'm just saying, I found the trailer because a lot of people have never heard of this movie. It was from 1976. Let's watch this trailer here. It's and you'll get my idea here.
A new movie. It's a gangster musical called Bugsy Malone, and it's kind of unusual because all the parts are played by kids around my age. Hold on a minute. I can see a few of you out there choking on your popcorn at the thought of 200 kids in ringlets across the screen. Look, I'm not too fond of kids myself. But this ain't no ordinary kid story. Believe me, there ain't never been a movie like it. Take a look.
Your name Robinson?
You work with Fat Sam?
I remember.
New York, 1929. Prohibition. Gang warfare. A world of gangsters.
Did you want Muppets or kids? And they were like, kids.
Quite possibly the most unique motion picture for years.
Everybody loves that man. Bugsy Malone.
And if that isn't enough.
This
Bugsy
happened.
Malone is also the
This
year's
happened.
I've seen this movie.
Disavow. First, did you approve of that?
There goes our monetization.
Totally worth it.
By the way, that's Paul Williams doing all the music.
Hooray! Too kind, guys. Too kind. That's it. Don't have to forget that. Number one, man.
Oh.
Big. How about smearing my lips? Careful, Tallulah. Come here close. I have to call my lawyer.
My name is Tallulah.
Disavow.
Oh my God.
Disavow.
You're a dime a dozen gangster, Sam. You're a dirty rat, man.
So be a man, you know you can't be certain that you'll lose until you try. So give it a try.
Put him in the ring, Joe, chicken on a cart. Let me have a wing, Joe, tearing him apart. That chicken will grow. Then he'll call it quits for sure, Joe.
Every year brings a great movie. Every decade.
I don't remember this movie being so weird.
Bugsy Malone.
I do.
There's never
Blocked
ever
it
been a
out.
movie
It's
like
the
it.
pie gun.
Get your heart out, Gene Kelly.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember this, but I don't remember the music. That was the music.
Yeah, I remember this movie.
Oh,
Okay,
boy.
I want a cream pie machine gun. That's my takeaway. I saw that I saw it in a theater as a kid. It's ridiculous. They have these, scaled cars they drive around. I love this movie, but does seem a little weird with the dancing girls that are like 13. That does seem that scene was a little like, I mean, at the time.
No, what we know now of Hollywood, man, I would feel very uncomfortable watching that movie now.
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable watching it right now.
But
It's a trailer.
look at how dark Penguin was as a kid. You could almost do think of it, Lil Gotham. You got Lil Penguin, Lil Riddler, Lil Joker, Lil Bruce Wayne. I mean, it could work, right? Like they've reached. I feel like every franchise is dead when they do like the Muppet Babies or something, right? When it goes cute, it's like it's been around too long. They've run out of things. Yeah, the pedal cars was hilarious, but I just thought that actor who played young Oz was fantastic. He was chilling.
Yeah, his name's Ryder Allen, and I threw his IMDb in the private chat there if you wanted to take a
Yeah,
look.
he's only been in one. Was Palmer starring Justin Timberlake.
Mhm.
Wow.
And he was a uncredited actor on Law and Order.
Yeah.
Just that scene from last week, man, when he's sitting with his mom on the couch while his brothers are drowning, and he's just like,
Oh, yeah.
happy as a log, like no cares in the world. I'm like, wow, man, this dude is a sociopath.
Yeah, that was scary.
And
So,
the kid did such a great job of portraying that.
all right. Well, we'll do what are our final thoughts on the Penguins? I mean, my final thought is this is going to win all the awards. It's going to get all the accolades, and it should.